Hello friends, neighbors, John, your neighbor here. Welcome down to the Nook and a challenging video for anyone who loves whiskey. And certainly it's hitting up just about everybody who does whiskey on YouTube. And that is, if you could only drink one whiskey for the rest of your life, what would that be? And, that is such a tough challenge. A few different, I don't have a specific YouTuber called me out publicly, but several of them have asked me to jump on and to give my thoughts. So I thought, okay, I'm going to share with you how I took on this challenge, how I got to these three finalists, and then together we're going to figure out if I had to go home with one whiskey for the rest of my life, would it be one of these three or maybe a mystery one that's coming up? Anyways, why don't you pour a dram of something you really enjoy, something you love to drink, and settle in for just some thoughts about whiskey. And in the end, what I would pick if I could only have one whiskey for the rest of my life. 3, 4. Thanks again, friends and neighbors, for joining me. I really think this is an incredibly tough challenge, and one that I think your drinking buddy really put it together the best of what I've seen, in the sense of why this challenge is far more of a curse than it is of a blessing. Of course, at first, a blessing. Any whiskey you want, as much as you want, for as long as you want. That sounds fantastic. Until you realize, and this is what he says, and he is spot on, it is the variety of what we drink that creates story, creates memory, and also helps us appreciate when we've come across a banger. We know it's a banger because we've been playing around in mediocre land for a while. And I do really believe variety, spice of life, diversity, create story. I've got to have had some whiskeys that have been drain pours in order to really appreciate when someone, just gets it right. Or even a good whiskey, like, hey, this is really good. And then you have that whiskey that is next step. Whew. And you know it is, right? So anyways, he said it first. I'm just repeating that, but I'm resonating with that approach. Having said that, the way I wanted to take on this challenge is to say, I don't want to pick, hey, you know what? I want Pappy 25. I've personally never had Pappy 25, so even though I'll never get it outside of a wish like this, I don't want to wish for something I've never had. What if I don't like it? What if other people like it? And anyways, so I deliberately went to whiskeys that I have or have had and looked at whiskeys that I have rebought or continue to put on my shelf. So they're not always the most expensive whiskeys I've ever come across, but they seem to be whiskeys that keep hitting my shelf. So I obviously love them. And I think if I'm going to be cursed with a whiskey for the rest of my life, it better be one of those. These three made my top list. Up here, I would also have had Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength. That's also just a super favorite of mine. Don't have any though. And so I thought 2 is probably what I should sip through with you guys. I've got Booker's representing all Bookers. This particular release isn't like my favorite, but this one's actually turned out really good. This is Charlie's Batch 2301. And then I do have up here, you'll notice it's still sealed because it is my last bottle, and I doubt I'll ever see another one, so I'm waiting to crack this one again. This is Lot 40 12-year-old cask strength, an absolute favorite of mine. And then Lagavulin. Now this Lagavulin is the 12-year-old. I know, 16's been beat up now, and 8-year-old actually still gets a lot of love, but there's some hitting because it's not released the way it should be. This 12-year-old, though, at cask strength has been a repeat buy. This particular bottle, I've been nursing very carefully so it doesn't go, not flat, but you know what I mean on me, because it's a cracker. So I've got Booker's, got Lot 40 Rye, and I've got Lagavulin, kind of representing all peated Scotch. So let's jump in, taste a little bit together, and share maybe what I'm really liking about these. I'd like to start with Lagavulin, but if I start with Lagavulin, that peat will stay in my palate and I won't be able to get myself through. So I'm going to start with a misrepresentation for you. This is when camera is wrong. So this is lot 40 12-year-old. This glass is lot 40 dark oak. They are not the same liquid. and lot 40 dark oak would not be my pick of whiskey forever. But I've had more bottles of lot 40 regular, lot 40 dark oak, lot 40 every one of the cask strengths, than than any other rye. And I like rye. So let's talk a bit about what I like a rye, but this, as I said, is a lie in terms of it isn't a 12-year-old. Man, I wish it was a 12-year-old. If anybody wants to give me another bottle, I'll open it with you and I'll just talk live. We'll sip it for as long as you want to sip it with me. But this is my last one. Lot 40 has a good amount of dark fruit for me. It's got dark fruit notes, dark, full ripe Bing cherry. I like that in rye because it balances what else lot 40 has. And that is nice spicing. Good, slight grassy, but not overdone grass, but good spicy notes. From wood, from the essential rye nature, lot 40's got that balance. It's dry palate. Cheers. Cinnamons, peppers, dark red cherries, oak tannins, char, all of that. Now, that's the dark oak. That's a solid pour. Worth every time you go to the store and it's on sale for $45. Woo! Even on sale, not on sale, was it 65? I can't remember right now, but it's a solid rye. And I like rye, and one of the reasons why I thought this could be an excellent pick forever is I like rye neat. I like the spice, I like the peppering, I like the chewiness, I like the way it dries on the finish, and I love it in cocktails. It perks them up, it makes great old fashions. So this is one of my top three, and the 12-year-old specifically. This was a monster. If for some reason there's a bottle on a shelf out there and you happen to see it and you like rye in any way, do yourself a favor and buy that bottle. So then we come to Booker's. This, as I said, is 2301. This is Charlie's batch, the person who actually made these boxes or designed them originally. And Booker's, to me, resonates so well with what I'm looking for. You know, it gives all the whiskey nerd stuff. You can go online, you can get, it's this percentage from that warehouse and this percentage from that warehouse. It also gives you the clear age stamp. As I said, this one is 7 years, 1 month. Does it say days? Can't see it on here. And then it's 63.3%. So it's a classy release. It's well packaged, lots of information, and it happens to resonate with my palate quite a bit. Booker's, spicy in a different way. We've got caramels and peanut shells and also some cherry. But here I've got a little bit of apple, a little bit of cherry mixed in. Let's try this one on the palate. Cheers. I really like Booker's, and this one is turning out to be one of my favorite Bookers. I have to go through the notes, and I don't want to call out a specific one. Everyone picks country ham. But this is really good. A nice balance of spice, and it's not overly peanut forward, which is a knock to Jim Beam. Sometimes it is too much peanut brittle. I happen to like their balance of peanut in there, but this has got nice fruits, nice cherries, and nice spicing. This one, actually, compared to the dark oak, it's quite a bit hotter, right? Instead of 48%, at least this one could have stood up at 55, but we're at 63, so now my palate is going to have to really work to cleanse it to get at that Lagavulin. But Booker's for me is great. Now, I also have the good fortune of being able to get Booker's for a good price still. To give you a sense of how much I enjoy Booker's, I've bought a few over the years, and we've gotten rid of some, and then I looked around and I'm like, I see this for storage in my wife's craft area. And then I see this for storage in my wife's craft area. And then I see this for storage. I see this for storage. And I'm not even convinced that this represents all of the boxes that I've had. So, you know what? I like Booker's. Well, after that demonstration, is there even a third runner? And there is. Peated Scotch holds a special place in my heart. Right now, I have more sherried Scotch than peated Scotch, like this Lagavulin. But if I were to be cast into a whiskey for the rest of my life, having something with that nice Islay smoke and richness and earthiness and backbone, I think would be just delightful. So Lagavulin 12 specifically is in the running up here, and it's a 57%er. You'll notice all of these up here are cask or near cask or barrel proof whiskeys, which is definitely what I would want. Why? Absolutely the most versatility. I can go down in proof. I can leave it high in proof. It's going to play a lot more in a lot of different ways. It's also neat that I think these are all, it's really neat to see the different colorings across these ones. And this one is a beauty at 12, and it is as light as they come. It's a pale straw whiskey, which I have no problem with. And I wish all whiskey had no color in it at all, so we could just appreciate it. I'm worried the Lot 40 has a bit of color in it. But certainly the Bookers, and certainly this beautifully nice straw-colored Scotch is natural. Let's give it a nose and taste. I try to keep no more than 200 bottles open. I know that sounds like so much whiskey, but it's not that much whiskey compared to some, but it's a ton of whiskey. And I probably have like 110 of those are Scotch. I drink more Scotch as a generality than any other specific whiskey. Having said that, I didn't have 3 Scotches up here. This is representing Scotch for me. It is so good. This is so nice, smolder and lighter fruits. Maybe a little, like there's some vanilla, but also some pear and some light citrus. And then just that campfire hug, like just that come on home, comfort, security, safety. I don't know. There's so many good notes in a good peated Scotch. Let's try it. Sláinte. I almost said they don't make them like the 2016 year. It's not that good. There's lots of great Scotch, better Scotch than that. But that hit all the right notes. And it's got some emotion for me too. It was a parting gift when I work with a great group of people. They actually bought me that bottle, and it's why I've been nursing it along. I don't want to lose the memory as well. And memory is part of sharing whiskey and enjoying whiskey. This does have some spice. It's the least of the spice up here right now, but it's got a little pepper. It's got a little kick to move in with that smolder and that sweetness. The spirit itself is sweet. I got some pear, got some orchard apple, but then you wrap it up in smoke and ash and campfire and a little bit of salt, just a little bit of brine. It's actually, it's a driftwood fire. It's a group of us, and that sea air is blowing us back. It's all of those good things. These are great Scotches. These are great whiskeys. That's a great Scotch. This is a good rye, and I still love bourbon. This Booker's is a cracker. So which one am I going to fall into for the rest of my life? Well, I think you already know, in the sense that that's when I wanted to put up the boxes. I got ahead of myself with that. But I think the fact that I've bought more Bookers than anything else tells you that actually, I know, I'm a Canadian. I should have picked this 12-year-old. But Bookers sings my tune. I'm biased to it now. Maybe it's a profile that I enjoy, even when they seem more of a bruiser or less of a fruit, or the spice is too much, or there's a little too much peanut shell in there. I come back to Bookers. That actually is my favorite expression. So thanks for staying with me all the way to the end. I hope it was kind of fun for me to sip a little bit of the whiskeys and just share a bit about why I'm so passionate about these 3, and maybe gives you an idea. If you had to have a whiskey for the rest of your life, I wonder what you'd pick. If you want to, if you're comfortable, I'd love for you to just throw it in the comments. That'd be cool. And if you run a channel and you haven't done this challenge, not by name, but I challenge anyone to just pick up on this and share your ideas. It's been fun watching them. Thanks for joining me. You guys take care.